The takeover! Da, 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 da.
Classic.
Yeah, so, hey, this is really wonderful that we're going to get to spend some time together and just share with you folks how the evolution of the One Command organization has taken place. And I'm here with you.
Welcome. I'm so excited to be here with you today, Asara, and to hear your perspective.
Well, I think we need to share it from both of our perspective. Okay.
Start from my perspective?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Asara, I mean, the first time that I read the One Command, I knew the impact it was going to have on the world. And I read the book and I thought, this makes so much sense. It's such common sense. It's so practical. It's so straightforward. It's so impactful. I knew it was going to impact the world. And I've been a fan of the One Command since the day I saw my first draft of the book that you wrote.
Wow. That's wonderful.
Did you not know that?
I didn't know that. That's really great.
Oh.
That's wonderful.
And so, and the work that you've done with the One Command and the lives that you've changed and the impact that you've made internationally in the UK and in England and all over the world and all over the United States has just been, has made such an impression on me. And I just love the idea that can continue as a family contribution to the world, that your legacy can continue, that you would trust me to continue your legacy of making change in the world. And it's a thing about me that I know about myself is that I love to help people get what they want in their lives. I love to be transformative in people's lives and support them on their journey. And so the opportunity to be able to carry your legacy and carry your message forward is just a privilege, and I'm just so appreciative. Thank you.
Oh, this is such a wonderful conversation to have with you. I'm going to have some tears here in just a minute, because coming from that heart center that is you, Eden, that when we had the discussions about it, I was semi-retired and saying, I've done the One Command for so many years, and we reached over 500,000 people around the world and had the One Command on every continent in the world. And so I was taking a breath, and you came up with the idea of making it easier on the organization if you took over and acted as the business owner for the business of the One Command in the world. Oh my God. Well, I just said a prayer to God. Thank you so much for bringing the answer and the solution, because partnering with my daughter and partnering with an amazing, fantastic businesswoman that can bring the One Command to an even greater audience. And now just recently we got 3 generations, because your daughter Ariel has just joined us in the social media marketing. And so this legacy is going to continue even after I'm off the planet. I know that the message of the One Command that's transformative, that makes a difference in a person's life in an easy 6-step process, is here to stay. I'll just share one story. When the book first came out, I had one gentleman who said, this is going to be a legacy book. I just read this book, and this is a book that's going to be on the bookshelves for eons. So I'm happy that we have this opportunity to be in business together. But now, you're my boss. And I love that.
I love the way that you receive that leadership and that opportunity. I'm pretty sure, actually, that somewhere before we had that conversation about how I could maybe contribute, there was a command. I don't know how. The One Command continues making an impact in the world, and I get to retire. Right? I'm fairly confident somewhere in the journey there was a command that created that space, that capacity, that transition, that idea in me that opened up to being in business with you.
And in the philosophy of the One Command and operating in the quantum field, I always say we make that change internally first. And we're the messenger from the change that we've commanded in the universe, unconsciously or consciously. The more consciously we can do it, of course, the greater impact it is.
You know, I just had that experience today of that exact occurrence. You and I were talking about that. There was a change in the universe, and I, got to observe the unfolding of that. And it is, anyways, I just love that so much. And I do love, the three generations of, it's Asara Lovejoy, Eden Lovejoy, and Ariel Eden. And we have the three generations of powerful women in our family who are carrying this message forward out into the world. And I can see the one command, the principles of the one command, and success by your command being a real legacy that our family will honor and cherish, carrying forward for generations. Because why not?
Yeah. The easiest part of turning over my business to Eden was knowing that it was in the most capable, creative, dynamic hands I could possibly imagine, with all of the operations, all of the coordinations, everything that was logistically something that I had been trying to manage in addition to teaching, set me up to be able to be the mentor, the teacher, the author, the creator, rather than the operator of the business. And in addition to that, Eden was already using the philosophy of the one command in making her businesses grow, and growing from the small business that she had to over $300,000 a month in income. And she had commanded that, and we had worked on that together. And one day I said, well, when you get up to $15,000 a month, and she said, no, Mother, I told you $300,000 a year, no less. So she was implementing the philosophy of the one command and developing her 4 or 5 businesses, one of which is the one command operation. And so we did an actual business trade where she bought my one command rights to all of the books and materials, and I get to be a contributor. And that is just the most divine situation for me I could possibly imagine.
The hardest part about acquiring or taking over the one command was, we'll go back to my internal map, the idea or hesitancy that I had about being your boss, that, excuse me, that the hesitancy that I had about being a leader in Asara's life. It is definitely a change in the dynamic when you go from being the daughter and to being the leader of the business and the organization. What was wonderful about that was that Asara was so open to, there was just no resistance. Oh, okay, of course it's your idea, of course it's your decision, here's my ideas. So it became a collaborative effort, and I did not know, even coming in, what the reward of that collaborative effort would be. So what was my greatest fear became the greatest opportunity and joy of the work, which is pretty much my experience of life. One of the most creative aspects of handing over the business of the one command and the teaching of the one command to a next generation is that Asara knows instinctively, intuitively, in her very nature, in her very DNA, the content of what we're teaching here. And for others to be able to carry that legacy forward, we have the puzzle to create of how do we have the tools in place to be able to convey all of that knowledge and content in her absence, so that she can someday fully retire. And that's a very curious, complex, and creative process to discover how we can capture all of the teaching and the knowledge and the history of Asara's 79 years of seeking into tools, materials, and content that we can share with people going forward.
That is amazingly well. That is amazingly well said. And what we're setting up is the system to actually allow each individual to tap into that wisdom, knowledge, information, training, if you want to call it, but I think it goes beyond training. the way that the one command works is that I had a client that was saying, this is so unusual. This is such a different way to think. I'm getting my head wrapped around how you approach your reality and how you can create something in such a different manner than trying to write it out on paper and logically plan it, do the pros and cons, where you're going into a greater part of your brain, because we only use 15% of our brain. So we're going into a greater capacity of our own intelligence and a greater part of our brain, and we're showing people how to do it. And when I'm long gone, they'll know how to do it for themselves, and we'll have other teachers that will be able to share that with people as well. Is this all on?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Hi, Eden.
Hi, Asara.
I'm so excited.
Was not even right next to the camera too.
That's very
I'll take the blame.
Take that.
No, that was But so
You have to pause for a breath sometimes so they can cut it.
I
It doesn't
know.
look awkward.
I know.
Neither one
Both
of
of us
does
are
that very
long-winded.
well.